All right, good morning, class, and welcome to week number 6. That is right, week number 6 of your 7314 class, which is your reference class. As always, I'm your professor, Dr. JSK Austin, and today what we will do is we'll do a quick state of the course update. It should take no more than 5 minutes on the state of the course update right now. And after that, we're going to talk about the quote-unquote, what I would call the Googles of your library databases, your library databases that are most frequently used for general inquiries for to get information about various different topics like you would Google, as opposed to when you concentrate on certain databases, you are concentrated on more subject specific information. Like for instance, if you're in CINAHL, you're getting nursing information, and if you're in Business Source Complete, you're getting business information and so forth and so on. But when you do one of the two databases that I'm going to talk about today, which those two databases are Academic Search Complete and JSTOR, those are more for the generalists. They will have information about all kinds of topics, and they are very easy to use, and they're very easy to teach patrons. So if you have patrons that have very basic information needs, and these might be two databases that you want to start them with. So first, let's get into that state of the course update. Let's do it. All right, so things are moving along pretty well, actually. So what I'm going to say as far as the state of the course update is that, well, first of all, you only have two major assignments left, and you should be working on both of those already. Those would be the LibGuide assignment and the semester-long project. So you all have those to complete. The LibGuide is going to be due on Sunday, July the 24th at 11:59 p.m. Central Daylight Time. And then the semester-long project will be due on July the 29th, which is a Friday, at 11:59 p.m. Central Daylight Time. So make sure that you're working on those things. Make sure you get those assignments to me as soon as you, well, not as soon as you can, but, get them to me by the due date. As far as the discussion board posts, they're all still going very well. I'm very pleased by the level of activity, the level of thought and effort that you all are putting into your discussion board posts. And I have started grading the Wikipedia edit assignments, but I've not gotten very far on that quite yet. However, I'm pleased with the handful that I've done so far, but it really has only been a handful. But it looks like everybody got that turned in on time, except for I've got two of you that I gave extensions for select reasons, and those of you who I gave extensions, make sure you get those to me by the time that I gave you, which I think in both of your cases is Thursday. So make sure you get that to me. If you still have a Wikipedia edit assignment that's out, make sure you get that to me by Thursday. And for those of you who have turned it in, I will hopefully have those graded all by Saturday evening. That is my goal, at least. All right. Let's so from there, that's pretty much it with the state of the course updates. You all are doing very fine. So let's go ahead and look at some Academic Search Complete or Academic Search Premier and some JSTOR. All right, now the first thing we have to do is make sure that you all know how to even get to these resources from our library homepage, and it's going to be different depending on what library you're at. Now, first of all, one thing that I do want to say is that JSTOR and Academic Search Complete actually are they are databases that you'll find at both public and academic libraries. So this one will be relevant to both your public and academic library aspirants. School libraries, honestly, I'm not sure about. I would imagine that they would have Academic Search Complete because, again, it's something that's so relatable for different types of finding different types of information. But as far as JSTOR, I'm not sure that your K-12 libraries are going to be too likely to have that. So I'm not sure about that. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. So let's go ahead and first we need to get to our library homepage, which is library.missouri.edu. Okay. All right, and from our library homepage, what we want to do in order to get to Academic Search Complete or in order to get to JSTOR would be to go to find a database right there. And we can actually find these alphabetically. You don't have to go through subject or something like that. So another thing that I need to point out is that When you talk to librarians, they actually use the terms Academic Search Premier and Academic Search Complete pretty interchangeably. They're both pretty much the same database. Basically, Academic Search Premier is the basic tier for this database, and then Academic Search Complete would be the full extent of everything that you would have included in that database. So Academic Search Complete is a little bit upper tier. It's a little more expensive, but generally when you hear people say Academic Search Premier or Academic Search Complete, they are talking about the same database. So let's go ahead and make me small here and scroll until we find. All right, so we've got Academic Search Premier at Mizzou, and we can go ahead and log in. All right, and so you will be brought, actually it usually defaults into what you see here, which is the advanced search. The basic search looks kind of like this, or it does look like this, but I would go ahead and just go to the advanced search. There's no need to really muddle around with the basic search, and I'm going to show you what this bad boy does. All right, so the thing with Academic Search Premier or Academic Search Complete, whichever one you're using, is that for one thing, you want to familiarize yourself with all the different features that you have in the advanced search, okay? Okay, so let's go ahead and just run through some of these features that are primarily used. I'm probably not going to go through all of the features just because there are a lot of features too, and I've been working with Academic Search Premier since 2008, and there are some features that I have never ever used. So first of all, you probably, for most searches, especially if you don't want to confuse patrons that you're trying to teach how to use this database, you're probably going to want to stick to your search mode as your Boolean search. And if you're unfamiliar with Boolean searching is, it really is just this typical and or not as far as how you link your search terms. Yeah, I don't really mess too much with these other things. There are some advanced inquiries that you may want to do the smart text searching, but for the sake of keeping things relatively simple here, we're going to keep with the Boolean phrasing, and you can usually get most of what you need for most basic inquiries through the Boolean as opposed to going ahead and doing smart text or something else like that, okay? Yeah, close. Okay. Apply related words, you can, or equivalent subjects. You can do these things if you want. I just leave it at the default, which is the apply equivalent subjects, but you can also click these if you like. I actually try to avoid also search within the full text of the articles, A, because your keyword searching is going to do that anyway. And then B, this a lot of times just, again, returns too many articles. So I just kind of leave that alone. And then apply related words. You can do that if you want, or you don't have to. You can always reset, by the way. Limiting your results. This is very good for when you are getting too many results. I wish Google had a feature that was as intuitive as this one is, but you don't really have this with Google, but you will have it here. So limiting your results, first of all, full text, you can limit to full text in this database to the point where you're only getting your full text results back, as opposed to getting returns that would cause you to have to actually exit the database in order to get the article or the full text. Or if you remember me showing you all how to use Journal Finder and Interlibrary Loan, a lot of times when you're not doing a full text limited search, then you will have to go back and do the Interlibrary Loan if you see something that's really good, but you only have the abstract in the database as opposed to the full text, okay? Peer review, this is if you're looking specifically for scholarly stuff, and we will talk about that a little more after we actually perform a search. You can search for particular publications, so you could do something like People Magazine or Time Magazine or the New England Journal of Medicine or whatever the case may be. I don't do too much limiting by publication here because, again, you have that option up here. You'll see a source journal name. That's going to be your publication name. So I rarely ever bother with that down here because I can mess with that up here if I need to. Document types, so you got various document types. If you wanted to only get, for instance, well, those are some interesting types that we have there, but if you only wanted to get, let's say, and I rarely ever use this either, but let's say you only wanted book reviews, and that might be something that you run into, is only wanting book reviews or something like that. A lot of these other things, not so much, but if you are only looking for book reviews or only looking for articles or bibliographies, you could limit there. Number of pages, again, I rarely ever had to deal with that. I doubt that you will either. More than likely, your full text is in PDF, but it really shouldn't matter a lot of times whether it's PDF or HTML. And those are the formats that your full text is going to come in through this database, either PDF or HTML. It shouldn't harm anyone if HTML is the format the full text is coming from, okay? And then some other things, if you want something that has the references available at the end of the article, you can pick that. The type of publication, you do have date ranges, and again, you can also limit on those after you perform the search, and I'll show you that. Publication type, you can limit yourself to books or newspapers or journals or whatever the case may be. This is going to bring you mostly returns in English anyway, so there's usually not a reason to mess with that unless you're specifically looking for French or Spanish or something like that. And the cover story, don't even bother with it. Now, what you can do, first, I do want to show you all this up here. So the choose databases, when you're in an EBSCO database, you can actually come up to this choose databases option, and you can select all of them if you want. I have to do that sometimes if I'm looking for information that crosses over several disciplines. A lot of times I'll just highlight or click all the databases and search in them all. But if you don't really need to do that, then you can deselect, and then again you can focus on what you're actually wanting to, what you actually entered, which in our case again was Academic Search Premier. Click OK and just leave that the way it is, and you'll see whichever database you're working with, or if you're working with more than one, you'll see those up there. And part of the reason why you might want to actually go ahead and do a selection of databases is, for instance, if you're looking for help information, sometimes you are going to want to click CINAHL and Medline and that sort of thing. And so that's when you would combine databases, but I don't do a whole lot of that either. Okay, let's click out of that. And then when it comes to select fields, if you leave it as optional, then it's going to be a keyword, and if you don't leave it as optional, then it can start looking for specific things. For instance, if you're looking for something written by a specific author, you can select that. If you're looking for something that focuses on a specific subject, you can select subject terms and so forth and so on. So let's go ahead and try to do a search, just a basic search. Let's try to do something about immigration. Let's try to do something about our former President Trump and immigration. That sounds pretty cool. So let's say we wanted something that had Trump in the title. And then let's say we wanted something that dealt specifically as a subject matter with immigration. What we could do then is we could select title, and then any word, anything that it brings back would have to have Trump somewhere in the title. And then let's say I changed this and went to subject terms and then did immigration. Okay. Ooh, and I gotta know how to spell it though. There we go. And then from there, if I click search, let's see what happens. Okay. And so I've actually got a reasonable amount of results here. 1,145 results. That's not too many results. That's not too few results. Now, there are things you can do. For instance, if I took this back to a keyword, then I would have more than just this 1,145 results. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So if I just made this a keyword again, Trump and immigration, let's say I did that. Now I jumped from 1,100 to 5,000. So that might be way more than I want to deal with. So let's get our limiters back, or our limits back here for subject terms and Trump in the title. So again, we have this 1145 thing going on here. And I can scroll and I can find the different things here. They're going to be auto sorted by relevance, but if you wanted to, let's say you wanted to have your newest things up top, then you could do your newest first. You'll end up having to do that a lot. And as you can see, July to September 2022. So this really is new here. And as you can see, also we don't have our find it or our full text link here. So let's say that you are dealing with some, I guess, irresponsible freshmen, right? And they don't have time to go ahead and try to find things through interlibrary loan or journal finder or anything like that. So they need things that are limited to full text, and the full text is already presented in the database. What you could do is you could go over here to full text and you could click that. It's going to bring our number down, and as you can see, it brought us all the way down from 1145 to 268. However, everything that you're seeing here is going to have full text available right there in the database. In that way, you won't have to use something like Journal Finder or Interlibrary Loan or anything like that in order to find your full text, okay? So that's how that piece works. Now let's go back to our results list, and the best way to do that. Oh, by the way, yeah, you can scroll different things you can do there, but you can, yeah, scroll through the full text there and that sort of thing. This looks like it's a, all right, yeah, it is a journal article. All right, but let's go back to our results list. And let's actually uncheck that full text so we can see some of our other limiters, right? So let's say that we didn't have that full text limiter there and we're back to 1145, but then let's say that we wanted things that were, you could come down, let's say we only wanted things for the past 5 years. We could actually change this from 2002 to 2017 and it'll update. And then you see we went from 1145 to 967. Everything that you see here should be published in 2017 or later, okay? Now, also if you wanted to, again, you could go to peer-reviewed. If you will have, especially for those of you who go into academic libraries, you will have a lot of times where students are specifically looking for peer-reviewed things. And so the way you can do that is, again, just go to limit and peer reviewed. And I've went from 900 something things to 111 things. And everything that's peer reviewed is probably going to be in an academic journal, so this is kind of redundant here. But let's go ahead and uncheck that again and get our 967 things back. And let's say we come here. Let's say you only wanted newspaper articles. You could, or you only wanted newspapers or magazines because academic journals are too much to deal with. They are too hard to read, and you're dealing with like a 6th grader. You could do newspapers and magazines. Just click those two, and then you go down from 967 to 813. But everything that you see pop up here is going to be something that appeared in a newspaper or a magazine, and you can actually see usually the title of the publication right here in the results list. So you see New York Times there, or Wall Street Journal. This appeared in Risen, which is a libertarian magazine, National Review, conservative magazine, and so forth and so on. So you have that, and then also let's say that, all right, now there are a lot of various other things that you can do limits by, and you'll see all of your quote-unquote limiters over here in the left-hand area. So let's say, you can limit by, after you get, like, usually you'll start messing with these or toggling with these if you get too many results. That's usually when people start messing with these, or if you're getting too many irrelevant results. You can focus on your various subject terms, and I'll talk about subject terms a little more in a minute. You can limit to geography. Again, a lot of times this is by country, language, company. I don't really use the company and NAICS code limiters in Academic Search Complete or Academic Search Premier too much. However, when you're using Business Source Premier or Business Search Complete, then you're going to be using those a lot. Okay, so you got that benefit there, and so forth and so on, and you have all your limiters over there. Now we're going to go ahead and just leave this at our 813 results here, and I'm going to show you a few other things. Actually, no, I'm gonna take off the magazine and newspaper limits, so that we have our journals in there too. Okay, and actually I do need to pause for a second. All right, now from here, what we want to focus on is that I want to show you everything that you're going to see in a record and that sort of thing. And this is actually best done with something that is a journal article. Here we go. this one is a journal article. So when you're looking at a results list, first of all, you'll see these little icons here, and these little icons will tell you whether or not you're dealing with an academic journal article or a periodical, which could be journals or magazines or so forth. You can also see newspapers, book reviews. That's what you've got there, a book review. You can see news, and then you can also see a magazine tab, but I don't see one of those here. Let's go ahead though and get this guy because we do have the full text here. So first of all, one thing that you're going to want to pay attention to, you've got all of this information up front that includes your author, your the title of your publication, when it came out, volume and issue number, the page numbers, and then also how many pages it is. So 21 pages is a pretty long article. You've got a little bit of an abstract here, and then what you have here are these subject terms. Now, the way subject terms work, and we are going to go into the record here so that I can show you this a little better. So subject terms work in this particular way. Oh, I didn't know this was going to come with NAICS codes. That's interesting. NAICS codes you usually only be using in like business and industry. I didn't know that they would even apply this to government. But anyhow, so let's say you have these subject terms here. Let's say you search for immigration here, but let's say that this e-migration and immigration, let's say this is a little more fitting for what you're looking for. You can actually either copy and paste this into a subject term, a field with subject terms to get a different batch of results, or you could actually even just click this and it would just do an automatic search for and DE, that stands for delimiter. It would actually do a search for the things that have been cataloged into that subject term, okay? And so subject terms are better than, I would say that they're better than keywords usually because they're a little more focused. Your keywords are just going to bring you back anything that mentions the term anywhere in there, in the record or in the full text, whereas your subject terms, that's going to bring you back results that are actually quote unquote about the particular thing. So if you have something that has subject terms for immigration and immigration, then those things are specifically about those topics. They don't just happen to casually mention them. I hope that makes sense. All right, so you've got your subject terms there that this has been cataloged for. As you scroll down, you'll see you always want to find your abstract. Abstracts are very helpful. Abstracts are basically a 1 to 3 paragraph summary of the article's contents. And when you have a 21-page article, of course, you don't want to actually read that article and then find out it wasn't helpful. So the abstract is going to help you along with that. The abstract is going to help you determine that, yes, this is something that I should be looking at, or no, it's not. And from there, if the abstract looks good, if it looks like it's something worthwhile, then you can come over here and download your full text if you need to. And then you've also got these tools to the right here that can be helpful. So let's say you wanted to, for instance, share this article with one of your classmates. The best thing to do would probably be to get the permalink, and the permalink will include your proxies, so somebody can use that if they that helps if somebody needs to log in or something and they're coming in from the University of Missouri specifically. So it'd be one of your classmates at the University of Missouri that you want to give this permalink to. It wouldn't work for somebody who cannot meet the proxy for the University of Missouri. All right, so you have that. That's your permalink. You can copy and paste it and share with people. You can also you can email articles, and that includes you can email the record, and that would include a link to the article, or the PDF as a separate attachment. A lot of times that's available. You can go ahead and enter somebody's email and then send it to them that way. So that's a way to actually share this with somebody who isn't affiliated with the institution. And it's also a way that you can keep up with the information yourself. You can add these records to your Google Drive or to a folder that you have. Of course, you can print. If you save, then this can save to your hard drive, or if anyone is using the, I don't know if it actually saves to the cloud. I don't ever use the cloud, so I don't know how the whole cloud thing works, but you can definitely save this to a hard drive or to a folder on your hard drive there. And yeah, that's pretty much the basics of it. The other thing that I do want to show you all real quick here is the cite feature. The reason I want to show you this is because I want you all to be warned not to rely on it, okay? So you see a lot of times students, especially undergrads, they'll see that, oh, there's a cite feature, so now I don't even have to format my stuff. I can just click this and it'll all be formatted for me. And the problem is these are not checked. They are only actually computer generated, and no one checks them to make sure they're accurate, and they're only accurate about 80% of the time. Now 80% might sound good, but it's not good. So 80% means that if you have a paper with 10 sources in it that you pulled from this database, there's a good chance that the citations on at least 2 of them are wrong. Okay, so you never want to rely on this. You don't want to rely on your citation software either, by the way. You do want to double check. But definitely, and what you will see here, just to give you an example, I figured this would be wrong, and I was right. So with this one here, yes, they have the author initializing right. They have the date right. However, after should be lowercase. Administration should be lowercase. Fix, another, and Band-Aid. All of these should be lowercase, unless Band-Aid does count as a proper noun. I don't know if it does or not, but if not, then that should be lowercase too. So your capitalization here is off. So you never want to rely on these. Again, they're only right about 80% of the time. Okay, and so that's pretty much the gist of how Academic Search Premier or Academic Search Complete works. Let's go ahead and move over to JSTOR. Man, and I spent more time in Academic Search Complete than I meant to, but let's go ahead over to JSTOR and let's show you just what that works like, and hopefully this will only take about 10 minutes. Okay, so I'm back in my I'm back at the library homepage, and I want to again go to specific database. I want to go to the J's. Bada bing. And I want to scroll down, and there it is. There's my JSTOR. Now, we do have a little description here. So JSTOR is a full text database consisting of arts and sciences. Really, JSTOR consists of a whole lot of different topics, okay? Maximum users unlimited. Truncation, by the way, is, well, I'll show you what truncation is. But most EBSCO databases, and also JSTOR, which isn't an EBSCO database, but most EBSCO databases, as well as JSTOR and a few others, their truncation symbol is the asterisk. Okay, now let's get me out of the way here. And so this is JSTOR, and basically JSTOR works in a very similar way as Academic Search Complete, but everything in JSTOR, with a few exceptions, is at least 3 years old. And what JSTOR is useful for is it's useful for getting historical articles. I use it a lot when I have to get things from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and so forth and so on. But you can see stuff that goes much, much further than that even. So let's go ahead and just do, let's just go ahead and do a regular advanced search, all fields. I'm not even going to mess with those right now, because this works very similar to what you saw in Academic Search Premier or Academic Search Complete. Let's just do civil rights, because that is always a historical thing. And if I put the quotation marks around it, that should stop me from getting stuff that just has civil and rights as opposed to civil rights, if that makes sense. Okay, proceed. All right, submit advanced search. I'm sorry. Okay, I don't want that to stop coming up. All right, and as you can see, so one drawback with JSTOR is that the searches just aren't very powerful. So pretty much everything in JSTOR is full text. However, again, the searches aren't powerful, so you always get a lot of results in JSTOR. So you're always going to want to do advanced searches and link your Boolean terms and that sort of thing. So we've got 212,000 results. And so one way that we can limit these is, for instance, let's go ahead and move this around a little bit. Let's say we only wanted journal articles. That would help us take it from 212,000 to 176,000. So we're on our way. So we're at 176,000. And then let's say that we only wanted, let's see how else we can limit. So we're doing civil rights, but let's say we only wanted things that came out of civil rights journals. African American studies journals for civil rights. we could click this, and now we're down from 176,000 things to 8,000 things. Now we're looking a lot better. And I didn't know they have. Good luck with finding those BC things, but I guess they are in here. But let's say that you really wanted to focus on things that were published in the 1950s and 60s, right? We could actually do that. So let's apply 1950 to 1969. Apply that. Now we've gone from 8,000 things to 1,180 things. So that definitely helps us as far as limiting ourselves and making sure we don't have too many results, right? And so then it just works pretty much the same way from there. Let's say that let's scroll down. Let's find something. New dimensions. This guy looks good here. So you don't have all that neat information that you had in the EBSCO database, but we can still click on the title of this article here, and we'll be brought to this page here. And some of the things that we'll have here will include, we will have our stable URL, and we'll have a permalink with the Mizzou proxy as well. So we'll have that. We've got information here that we would need in order to produce a citation here, including our journal article title, the title of our publication, which is the Journal of Negro Education. We've also got volume and issue information, the page numbers, dates there, and then we have our authors here. So we've got this, and then what you can do is you can use this to kind of flip pages back and forth. But then you can also just totally just download the entire thing, and then you can also if you need to share it, but somebody would still likely need the Missouri proxy in order to get into the article. You can save it there, and then you can also, again, generate your sample citations here. And again, this citation's wrong. Just because dimensions and education should be lowercase, but everything else is properly capitalized there. So that's pretty much how JSTOR works. And again, JSTOR is something that you would... JSTOR has a lot of different topics in it, pretty much any topic, just like Academic Search Complete. But remember, everything in here is at least 3 years old. Actually, most things are at least 5 years old, because that's when I first started. I believe I was told it was at least 5 years old and older. But you got a lot of information in JSTOR, and everything here is full text. And then also, again, the searches aren't very powerful, but they do bring a lot of results. So if you do need to build a source list quick, then JSTOR will be one of your secret weapons for that. So if you want to know a bit more about these databases and get some practice on them, these are two of the databases that you're going to use the most if you go into public or academic libraries. K-12, again, I'm not sure about. But if you're going into public or academic libraries as a reference librarian, yes, you're going to be using JSTOR and Academic Search Complete a lot. So get comfortable with them. And I will leave it right there so that we keep this at least under 35 minutes. I am Dr. Jace, and when you are doing virtual reference, don't leave your patrons without a trace. Make sure they know you're still there. I will see you all next week on a new topic, and looking forward to it. Bye-bye.